Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Seibert, Managing Editor at GovCIO Media Research, and joining me today is Dave Salvagnini, the Chief Data and AI Officer at NASA. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we are tuning in from the Federal IT Efficiency Summit, and we're just going to ask Dave a couple of questions. We're about to go on stage in 10 minutes. So Dave, before we go and expand on this during our conversation, I wanted to get a couple higher level questions. So you took the role of CAIO in May 2024. And since you've worked to align NASA's AI strategy with broader data governance initiatives to ensure responsible and transparent deployment and risk management. So what went into building that strategy?
Well, thank you for that question. So I want to just open up also with a little bit of a precursor to the AI role. I actually got hired at NASA as Chief Data Officer, and that was in June of 2023.
Right.
What happened then was the executive order from the Biden administration was released requiring a Chief AI Officer. I led a study at NASA that to evaluate where should we put the AI officer, where is the natural alignment for the AI officer, and so on. And I made a recommendation that the AI officer should be commingled with the data officer. And the reason I did that is because the success of AI is so critically dependent upon how you manage your data.
Right.
So I think there's a natural synergy there. And especially when you talk about responsible AI is only enabled by good disciplined data management. So how has the role evolved? Yes, I was appointed last May, and it's been just over a year now. Certainly, we had a number of compliance activities that we had to get through that were requirements of OMB. NASA, of course, accomplished all of those on or ahead of schedule. But more important than those compliance activities, it was really building a network across the agency and building trust with our mission organizations. In other words, I'm not just here to track OMB compliance actions, but rather I'm here to really facilitate and orchestrate a journey of AI adoption across the agency. AI adoption across the agency in a manner that's informed by mission and business needs. So when you show up with that type of narrative, people are much more willing to sort of embrace and partner. And that's exactly what we did. So really the first year was building those partnerships, those alliances across the agency, and building trust as well. Because trust is earned through relationships, and showcasing that my work will be a value add to what they're trying to accomplish. The other thing, of course, was, well, how am I helping them with their day-to-day problems? And the way in which I said I would help them with their day-to-day problems is by equipping the workforce with the knowledge they need to effectively use generative AI tools, so late-breaking new surge in AI, and then also making those tools available within the NASA-protected boundary so that people could use NASA data, proprietary data, safely with generative AI and start to gain value from its capabilities.
Right. That's super exciting. So since building out that strategy, what are some of the NASA AI uses that you're super excited about, that you're looking forward to, that you've seen? What are some of the latest developments there?
Well, so there's traditional AI, the traditional ML type of use cases that we're super proud of, and we see that embedded in a lot of our space-based systems. For example, the Mars Perseverance rover would not have successfully landed on the surface of Mars without AI. It would not actually execute the missions that it executes on any given day without AI. So AI is on board that system and is used daily. When it comes to generative AI in particular, we have text to structure as an example of how we're evolving this capability. And what does that mean? That means that a mechanical engineer can build a structural member with a text description by marrying up generative AI capabilities with CAD/CAM tools. And what we've done is we've done an analysis of if a human designs a structural member, and we look at that structural member, and then the AI designs the same structural member, we have found that the AI version it's more quickly completed, but it actually exceeds the tolerances of the human design. So that's one example where mechanical engineers are using AI to basically prompt a system to design a structural member based on parameters. Of course, there's all the other types of use cases that you see across any organization. We have crew medical officer decision aid is an example. That's an AI edge use case that's going to support our astronauts that are on long duration space travel to Mars, for example. Whereas if there's a medical event and an astronaut who's not in contact with mission control, because there are lapses in communication at times during those long space flights, has a resource to go to help deal with that sort of medical situation. And then, of course, there's all the other workforce generative AI capabilities. So we're bringing in lots of LLMs, and we're giving people the opportunity to build corpuses of documents and then prompt and query those corpuses of documents for insights much more effectively than they would have otherwise been able to do in the past.
Right. That's super exciting. And final question for you. So we've talked about some of the progress that you've made, but what's next? I feel like when I ask this question, people are like, I don't know after a couple months because it is evolving so quickly. So what are you eyeing as that next step for AI?
I think we have to continue the journey. Candidly, we need more tools within our protected boundary, and we need to continue to get people comfortable with using those tools. And, you know, part of this whole campaign is a recognition that the quality of an AI output is directly proportional to the quality of how it's prompted. And that means the user, the employee, has a responsibility to make sure that, you know, they're prompting effectively. So we have a journey that's multifaceted. Bring the tools into the environment, give people access to those tools, but equip them in a way to effectively use those tools to support their particular mission needs. That gets people really comfortable with the technology. Next, I would say, is starting to get into some more agentic-based systems. In other words, look at a business workflow end to end and say, how can AI enable this? And in particular, as we look at sort of a diminishing workforce, you know, we're going to have to be able to continue to accomplish things with fewer people. And that means maybe automation and automation enabled by AI. And I think some systems that can take that workflow and enhance it with AI and have less human touch each step of the way is the next logical progression for us.
Well, that's exciting. We'll have to touch base and see where that goes. But thank you so much for joining me today. I'm looking forward to our panel conversation in a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.